Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Antorus raid boss guides. The last boss on our list here is Argus. Now this is a very difficult fight with a lot of phases, each one completely unique, so we're going to break it down by phase. For phase 1, the tank with aggro is actually going to face Argus away from the raid, tank right in the middle of the room, and whenever the tank gets 2 or 3 stacks depending on how comfortable you are taking the damage, they will swap tanks. Tanks also have to guarantee the active mitigation is up for the 3rd stack if you are going up to 3, because it will do a lot of damage. Since the frontal cleave actually applies this debuff, the other tanks should be in the back with the rest of the raid until they're ready to swap. Now DPS and healers, you are going to stack up as best as you can right behind Argus. Now if you do get one of the gift debuffs, either Sea or Sky, right before that drops off of you, you should sidestep a bit, drop the buff off to the side so that people can go and collect it. Now this buff here gives haste and this buff here gives crit. Now if you do get the Soul Blight debuff, what you need to do is run all the way back to the edge of the room while staying in line with the rest of your raid and drop the Soul Blight back there. Also keep an eye on the energy bar for Argus, because every time he hits 100 energy, he will turn around and cast Cone of Death. Now this cone is going to put blight on the ground and do a ton of damage, so as soon as you see this cast go off, when that 100 energy marker hits, you actually want to sidestep so that you do not get hit by this. Now once Argus hits 70%, everybody wants to go and stack on Argus because the edges of the room will have a storm that will kill you. This is when phase 2 begins. Now for phase 2, whatever tank is currently holding Argus is going to take 3 stacks of the debuff and then swap off. Regardless of if you were doing 2 stacks before, when phase 2 starts, the first tank will do 3 stacks. As soon as those 3 stacks go out, you do want to position Argus into one of the corners of the room. Now what you want to do is put raid markers in the cardinal points of this room, so north, south, east, and west, and you're going to be tanking Argus on one of these points. Now the tank that had the first aggro is going to be running over to the first bomb. So when you have these markers, people that have Soul Burst and Soul Bomb will be running to these markers. The Soul Burst will be off to the side and behind Argus, and the Soul Bomb will be to the other side of Argus, so make sure you discuss this with your raid beforehand. Now the tank that had first aggro will be taking first bomb because they will have this buff right here. It'll make them giant and glowy, and it'll basically redirect all the damage of the bomb over to them and them only. So they will stack up with the person that has the bomb and take that damage. The 2 people with burst will just have to run to their markers and hug the wall. It is very important that they hug the wall or else they can wipe the raid. Now after 3 stacks and the bomb goes off, the tanks will swap aggro, and then the second tank will go over for the second bomb at the same marker as well. Make sure you are tanking Argus right up against that wall as well. Now for the DPS and healers for this phase, you do want to stack on Argus's back. If you're too far spread out, you're going to be getting hit by these bursts and you can actually go down very quickly because of it. And remember your markers. If you get a soul burst, you're either going to be going to the side or to the back, and if you get a soul bomb, you're going to be going to the side that's designated as the bomb. It is also important that you dodge all of the sights on the ground during this phase. They do leave a ticking debuff that does do a lot of damage as well. Now once Argus hits 40%, you will go over to phase 3, in which there are a ton of ads all around the room. Now in normal mode, you can focus down one of the ads at a time. Now these ads should have at least 1 person on them at all times for interrupts. Whenever they do cast Cosmic Beacon, you need to interrupt that 100% of the time. It does a raid-wide ticking damage that actually hurts a ton. Also, if you are focused by Star Blast and that looks like this on the ground, remember not to move so that everybody else can avoid you and not get hit by that damage. Now during this phase, 2 random ads will get different sorts of weapons. One of them will have 2 one-handed daggers and the other one will have 1 two-handed sword. The ad with 2 one-handed daggers can be stacked up on any other ads, so whatever tank picks that one up should drag him over and stack him for cleave DPS, and whatever tank picks up the ad with the 2-hander sword should actually tank that ad right in the middle and not stack with anyone, or else he'll gain a damage buff and hit really hard. Now for heroic mode, the ads that do have these weapons will swap every now and then. So as a tank, you have to look at the rest of the room and see which ad gets these weapons and immediately go over and taunt, because they will most likely one-shot a DPS. Also, in heroic mode, if you interrupt anything other than a cosmic beacon, the adds will gain an immunity to interrupts for 20 seconds. So it's very important that you only interrupt cosmic beacon and not any of the other casts. Now for phase 4, everybody will die and actually be in the middle of the room just like this, and what's going to happen now is you need to release and run over to the tree. Now it's very important that everybody resurrects and runs to this tree before interrupting Argus, because he will be casting something called End of Time, and everybody gets 1 free res while he's casting this, so make sure that everybody resurrects while this cast is going off. Once everybody's up, interrupt Argus and drag him over to the same position you had him in phase 2 when bombs go off. Now in normal mode, tanks will be swapping over at 3 stacks, just like they did in phase 1 and phase 2, but in heroic mode, these stacks do not actually fall off and they last forever. So in heroic mode, the tanks will be holding Argus for as long as possible until they go down. At that point, they will release, run to the tree, and resurrect. It is very important that you also save all B reses at this point for tanks only. Now for the DPSers and healers, if you do get soul bomb, you have to run to the back of the room this time and actually just blow up in the back of the room there. The tank cannot save you at this point, so you will go down. If you do get soul burst, it's very important that you run to the edges of the room and hug the wall. If you are not touching the wall, you are way too close to your raid and you're gonna wipe the raid. Now if you do have an immunity, you can immune out of the damage of these soul bursts and soul bombs, but as soon as you pop your immunity, the bomb or burst will blow up, hitting everyone around you. So you still want to get to your marker first and then pop immunity after. Now during this phase, on a time schedule, orbs will spawn around the room and need to be nuked as soon as possible. They will start expanding in size and dealing a ton of damage once they blow up. So it's very important that all of your ranged immediately swap to these orbs and nuke them. Now once these orbs go down, over in the spirit world, these orbs will leave behind their energy. So once someone goes down to soul burst or soul bomb, before they actually resurrect at the tree, they should run around collecting these orbs in this death realm. With enough of these orbs, you will receive a damage buff that'll help you kill Argus in time. The last thing to note is that the tree only has a set amount of resurrections on it, and once the tree starts becoming withered, it will take damage. It is completely possible for your healers to heal this tree and keep it up a little bit longer, but every time somebody else resurrects at this tree, it'll take more and more damage until it just gets one shot and goes down. So you do have a limited amount of resurrections, so it's very important to not die to anything other than a soul burst or a soul bomb, and even then it should only be one person going down to that. I know this is a very hectic fight, especially phase 4, but do your best to get through this and deal with one mechanic at a time and learn one mechanic at a time, and eventually you will overcome Argus and get your heroic mount. If you guys have any questions about this fight, let me know in the comment section down below and I will do my best to help you. Thank you all for watching, and as always, good luck out there.